Hi, I'm Chef Tony Matassa. Today we're making homemade 4-cheese pizza, and I'll show you a little trick on how we'll blend some great vegetables in. I promise you the kids will never know. Let's get to it. We'll begin with the sauce. You can use store-bought sauce, but making your own is simple and allows you to sneak in veggies that your kids might normally refuse. Here I have some chopped kale with the stems removed. I love it because it's packed with nutrients and really doesn't affect the flavor of the sauce. I also like to throw in some steamed broccoli for an added nutritional punch. Today I'm making a double batch of sauce because it freezes well and it's nice to have handy. Begin by sauteing some diced onions in olive oil along with some chopped red and yellow bell peppers. Season as you go with salt and fresh ground black pepper to taste. Cook everything until it's well caramelized, then add some garlic paste and follow that by stirring in some tomato puree. Season with a little more salt and black pepper. Now I like to add a little dried thyme, a hint of white pepper, and some brown sugar. Stir and simmer for a few minutes. Now throw in some fresh chopped parsley, some fresh basil, and oregano. Finish the sauce off by adding in the broccoli and finely chopped kale. Stir, and now I'll break out my immersion blender to puree everything into a smooth sauce. Once it reaches this consistency, it's time to set aside and make the pizza dough. Now great pizza dough starts with only a few simple ingredients. Olive oil, always use a good extra virgin olive oil. Water, it's best to use some type of mineral water. The minerals impart favorable baking characteristics and taste. Flour, stick with bread flour. It has a higher percentage of protein, which is what gives pizza crust the chewy elasticity that everyone has come to love. Salt, I like to use either sea salt or kosher. A little honey, which is optional, but honey adds subtle sweetness to the dough and acts as extra food to kickstart the yeast. In a mixing bowl, blend the mineral water with the yeast, and if using, also blend in some honey. Finally, blend in olive oil and allow this mixture to rest and proof for about 10 minutes to allow the yeast to activate. While that's going on, whisk together some salt and bread flour. When the yeast has proofed, make a well in the center of your flour and pour in the liquid. Use your hand to gradually mix the flour into the liquid. You may need to add a splash of water or a small amount of flour to reach the doughy consistency. Once there, turn everything out onto a well-floured work surface and begin kneading. Work the dough for 5 to 8 minutes until your dough is smooth and elastic. Now coat it with some olive oil and place it in a bowl to rise, covered with a damp towel until doubled in size. After about 30 minutes, or once the dough has doubled, remove it from the bowl and slice it in half to form 2 dough balls. To form the pizza, just press the dough out from the center gradually to form a circular crust. I like to use cornmeal at this stage to keep the dough from sticking while I'm putting on the toppings. Spread out a nice even layer of your pizza sauce from earlier, and it's time to add the cheese blend. I pre-mixed the 4-cheese blend, which consists of shredded mozzarella, provolone, Colby Jack, and smoked Gruyere cheese. Give the pizza a generous coating of cheese and it's ready for your peel. Sprinkle a little cornmeal on your pizza peel as well to make the transfer easier. Place the pizza in an oven preheated to about 550 degrees. Today I'm using the Blackstone pizza oven. Just look at the cheese bubbling. That is a beautiful sight that reminds me of my childhood. When the crust is crispy and the cheese is golden brown, it's time to get this pizza out of the oven. I know I'm ready to dig in. Let the molten cheese cool for a couple minutes, then slice into as many servings as you like. Now this, right here, is what makes it worth the wait. There's nothing better than homemade pizza. And I promise you, no one will have any idea that you have kale and broccoli blended into the sauce. It'll be our little secret. Thank you for watching today. Remember, at bbqguys.com, we smoke the competition.